everyone was kung fu fighting, but those kicks were not fast as lightning, darlings. So, if someone's out there watching this video and is thinking about buying a weapon, a martial arts weapon, please watch this video to the end. Yeah, I know. Oh, Tony, you old bastard. You don't know what you're talking about. It's cool to have nunchucks and a samurai sword, or even a shrunken. I don't know if it's called a shrunken. Is it called a shrunken? Anyway, what are you going to do? Walk around your town and fight crime? I don't bloody well know what you kids are up to these days. Maybe you're preparing for the apocalypse. And to that I say, I don't blame you. And also, when you look in the mirror in your underpants with a sword or a shrunken or nunchucks and you think, I look like the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. You don't. You don't, I tell you, you don't. I've done it myself and you don't. Please watch this video to the end and rethink your choices in buying weapons. I was round my friend Padge's house and we were stood in the kitchen. We were talking about ladies and the beer we were drinking and how good the beer was and how buzzed we were. And we were talking about movies. And then martial art movies came up. And the one martial art film came up. And I think you know which one I'm talking about. That's right. The Karate Kid. Oh no, wait, it wasn't the Karate Kid. It was Kill Bill. Padge looked at me and he said, I've got a replica of the Kill Bill sword. And I was like, oh my God. You need to show me this sword. So Padge ran upstairs and I heard him fiddling around in his room and then he scurried back down the stairs. And he walked into the kitchen all proud and said, look at this. And there in his hand he had the sword. Now, me being me, I took the sword and I studied it. I rotated it. And now just before I continue the story, I have to say that this samurai sword did not need pulling out, shall we say. Like an eager man who's near the finishing line. Now you're not all sat there thinking, oh, Tony, you're a samurai expert. I'm clearly not. So the blade fell out of the sheath, or actually it's called the saya. I looked it up on Google. Thanks, Google. Anyway, it fell out, and in slow motion, I saw the blade fall out of the sheath, or saya, and it was heading towards the kitchen floor. Now, I didn't want to damage the blade or anything, so I grabbed it. I grabbed the sword. And oh God, the floodgates had opened. It sliced me right down my index finger, middle finger, and my ring finger. And yes, it really, really hurt. So I was stood there, holding this blade, and blood was just pouring out of my fingers. Padge was in shock, and I just handed him back the sword and went, nice sword. Now, before you're wondering, well, I don't know if you are or not, but I didn't need to go to the hospital. Luckily, Padge's dad did some fancy bandage work on my fingers. Imagine that. Imagine if they just left me to walk home, bleeding all over the place, a trail of blood from their house to mine. I think the reason they come out of their sheaths, or saya, so easily is so they can get to their enemies a lot faster. But anyway, let's just say there was a lot of blood and it really hurt. But you can kind of feel a little bump on my middle finger. Yowza. Before you go into some weapon shop and go, I would like a samurai sword. And if you're a parent who's just come across this video, show it to your child. Say, look what Tony did to his finger. And maybe they'll think, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. After making this video, I realised it's not a shrunken, it's a shuriken. Don't know if I'm saying that right. A shuriken. And the meaning is a sword hidden in hand. So, I'm sorry about that, darlings, but yeah, shuriken. But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching my video, and please take it into consideration. Okay, darlings, goodbye!